Today is a terrific recipe for Biscoff, which are Belgian spice cookies. Just look at these and see how inviting they look. Be warned that these cookies are absolutely delicious and irresistible, meaning you would always go for a second, a third, a fourth, and so on. You want to proceed with caution, especially if you lack self-control when it comes to delicious cookies. This recipe would be a short-proof spice cookies for your guests during this holiday season. Let's get started. I begin by grounding some of the whole spices. This is cardamom, and I use my coffee grinder to turn whole spices into powder. You just want to set that aside. These are cloves, and same thing, just grind them into powder form and set aside. Since I use coconut sugar which have larger granules, I also grind that into fine powder. This is 3/4 cup of sugar. You want to do that in batches if you're using any sugar that has larger granules. Next, place a sieve over a clean bowl and measure out 1.5 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon cinnamon, followed by 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, half teaspoon finely grated nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon ground cardamom, 1/4 teaspoon ginger powder, 1/4 teaspoon salt, a pinch of ground cloves. Sift dry ingredients and set that aside. In a separate bowl, put 8 tablespoons of softened butter along with 3/4 cup of sugar that was grounded earlier on. Use an electric whisk to whip this together. Add in 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. The butter should look like it has absorbed the sugar. Next, use a spatula to incorporate the flour in small batches. The dough should have a crumbly consistency that easily comes together when pressed into a ball. Bring the dough together. I prefer splitting it in half and forming it into 2 disc shapes. Wrap both discs in cling film and chill for at least an hour in the refrigerator. You can mix this overnight and chill. Keeping the dough cold helps make the rolling and shaping process easier. Set a silicone baking mat over a baking sheet and just set that aside while we prep our rolling. Once you're ready to roll, dust some flour onto the prep area, take out one dough and leave the other in the fridge. I put a baking paper on top to roll so that the dough doesn't stick to my rolling pin. To shape, I use this 2-inch square biscuit cutter to cut out the shapes. And gently use a spatula to remove the shapes onto the prepared sheet tray with a silicone mat. Roll the leftover dough into a ball. Bring out the second dough from the fridge and you just switch them. You wrap the old one into the foil and put it back in the fridge to keep it cold while you roll out the new dough that is still cold. Repeat the same process with the rolling and the cutting. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you enjoy my content thus far, please like, consider subscribing and turn on your notification bell so you will be alerted when I upload new videos. I prefer to have my dough completely cut and laid out before proceeding with any baking. This is the tray from the freezer. You can see how each batch of the shaped dough is separated by baking paper. Cover and keep this cold as you roll and cut out the shapes. Bring out the first dough remnant that had been placed in the fridge and switch again and put the old one in the fridge while we work with this one. Flatten the dough and repeat the same process. Quick story time. A few months ago, my family traveled via Delta Airlines and my older child really enjoyed the Biscoff cookies that were served on board. So as a mother who gives myself unnecessary headache trying to replicate recipes my family like, I decided to try to make Biscoff, and here we are. What do you think Biscoff means? Let me know down below if you know the meaning of Biscoff, or just stay tuned till the end of the video because I will let you know what it means. At this point, I bring out the dough that was in the fridge and combine it with this one. So we draw towards the end of our rolling and shaping. Yeah, the finishing mark with the shapes, just bring together the final pieces of dough and simply mold and shape the last one with your hands. Here are all the batches of shaped cookie dough ready to be baked. Set that back in the freezer and preheat your oven to 380 degrees Fahrenheit. Lay out the cookies on prepared baking sheets. Ensure to space them out well. Place these on the middle rack of the oven and bake for 10 minutes. Look at our very first batch of baked cookies. Do not worry if they look soft. Gently lay each cookie on a wire rack to cool, as they will get firm and be crunchy once cooled. These are the final batch of cookies going into the oven. So the timer has gone off and I wanted to show you the last batch inside the oven. Again, you want to lay that on a wire rack to cool off. And that's it! The Biscoff cookies are ready. These are perfectly crispy, delicious, and too tempting to stop at just tasting one. My use of coconut sugar gives the cookies a deeper brown tone. You can use your preferred type of sugar, of course. Once the cookies are completely cool, ensure to store them in an airtight container. Biscoff means biscuits and coffee. Did you know this? Let me know how you found the cookies, and as always, thank you for watching.